Your salary must determine what you eat, not your appetite. It's a wise man who bites into a bone when you give him an egg. Hi, the Financial Wisdom Elite Masterclass Mastermind is about halfway through, and I thought, what a good time to pause and perhaps share with those of you who did not get the chance to be part of it what some of the nuggets have been. What you may not realize is that there are about 25 financial wisdom principles that I share, and 3 every week for the 8 weeks. And so I'm going to mention 12 of them for your pondering. Without too much detail, of course. You're not in the class, nor part of the mastermind. But the vision has been that if we could find 10 to 15 people every year and go deep with them in these financial matters, not just financial literacy, we're talking about actual capital allocation, wealth creation, looking at opportunities locally and globally, perhaps in 10 years, we would have some 100 to 150 millionaires through this process. And so we began with the very first principle, which was start right your motives. Why do you want to be wealthy? Why do you want to have financial resources? Why do you even want to be rich? It's very important to start right with your motives. Second principle, you've got to drop the stinking thinking. Whatever mentality that is blocking you from financial freedom, financial independence, financial prosperity, because there are ways of thinking that are not in congruence with getting to that point of financial success. Principle number 3, understand money. You will not conquer anything you don't understand. In fact, whatever you don't understand will rather control you. And so already we've been sharing important aspects of money, of cash, of assets, of getting people to re-examine, their balance sheets, their P&L statements, things like that. Because you need to understand money. Whether you're a doctor like me, medical doctor, or you're an engineer, money is everybody's business. Unfortunately, we are not taught in school. After that principle of understanding money, then we talk about being principle-centered, because every aspect of life has its own principles. Money has its own principles. Wealth creation has its own principles. And following principles in one aspect of your life, for example, you're a top surgeon because, you follow all these surgical principles, does not exempt you from the consequences of not following principles in another aspect of your life. We looked at the importance of setting smart financial goals. Yeah, people set goals in all kinds of areas and don't set financial goals. Smart financial goals. Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-bound. We talk about becoming a problem solver. That is key because money is a reward you get for solving problems. So what problems are you solving? And are you getting financially rewarded for those problems? But then we talked about another important principle following that be on your assignment. There are so many problems in our world, from archaeology to zoology, right? So what kind of problems are you going to solve in particular? That's where your assignment comes in. Right? Your unique God-given work to do on this planet, so that you can not just solve problems, but the problems that you have the passion for, you have the ability for, you have the experience for, you have the skill for, you know what I'm saying? You are shaped for. All right. Then it's important not to despise small beginnings. That's the 8th principle we talk about. Because people tend to think that, I want to make it big and I want to make it quick. But everything starts as a seed. And there's an old proverb that says that if little, I think it's a Chinese proverb, if little cash doesn't go, much money wouldn't come. So don't despise small beginnings. You can talk about several businesses, several organizations, several millionaires that started literally from scratch, right? Then principle number 9, don't squander any of the resources that you get and don't spend all. That brings us to another important principle, which is pay yourself first. When you have earned money, like the richest man in Babylon said, a part of all you earn is yours to keep. And unfortunately, many of us earn money and we pay electricity company, We pay Ghana Education Service or whatever school your children go to. We pay Ghana Water. We pay whatever bills we have, landlord, whatever, and we don't pay ourselves. So we really advocate the 10-10-80 rule. There are variations of it. You can do 10-10-10-70. You can do 10-20-70, whatever. But at least the 10-10-80 rule, which is that every amount of money you get, the first 10% you put aside for God. It's called the tithe. The tithe means a 10. The next 10% pay yourself. Pay yourself an amount of money which you save to invest, right, and put into vehicles, depending on your goals, to achieve whatever financial smart goals you have. Then we talk about the fact that you need to quit the wrong company and build the right ones. Every single one of us needs financial advisors. You need certain people in your life. Make sure you have a health professional in your life, a medical doctor at least. You have a good lawyer in your life. You have a good accountant in your life, especially one who understands taxes. You have a good financial advisor in your life. We all need, listen, your network is a lot of times dependent on your network. So build the right kind of company. And also make sure you get rid of company that destroys your wealth potential. There are people who, every time they want you to party, every time they come, let's buy this, let's buy that. You need to quit that kind of company and build the kinds that, for example, in this Financial Wisdom Elite Mastermind, every single person has a goal to at least be a millionaire in the next 10 years. When you're in a company like that, you're wise in the way you do things. You don't just get up and blow money, So think of these things. As it's been great getting nuggets from, Professor Stephen Adey, getting great nuggets from Kevin Stripe, my, friend who built a business from scratch in Canada that I was part of. I'm proud to have been part of it and, sold the company and now is a millionaire. And then my friend, the managing director of EDC. EDC is the EcoBank's financial assets brokerage arm, and he's been given some phenomenal nuggets, Paul. And Paul and I go way back. More than 20 years ago, we used to travel around Ghana and start, establishing investment clubs and things like that. I'm so proud of him and what he's doing. One of the funny things he said, funny but very important when we think about it, he said, your salary must determine what you eat, not your appetite. I love that. I've been thinking about that and just laughing over it, but it has deep wisdom in there. Your salary must determine what you eat, not your appetite. And another very good Ghanaian proverb is that it's a wise man who bites into a bone when you give him an egg. Think about it. What does it mean? It's a wise man who bites into a bone, although it's just an egg that you give this wise man. So hopefully you've had some insight into, of course, not all the details, into some of what we are capturing during this Financial Wisdom Elite Mastermind with some master classes, interspersed. And I hope that when it's called again next year, that you'll be a part of the next cohort of another 10 to 15 millionaires